Okay, cool. Finally got YouTube. All right, awesome. All right, so hi everyone. Ben and Christoph will be in the picture shortly, and what we're talking about is Halloween behaviors, trigger or treat. I know it's very uh, fun pun right there, right? So I absolutely love Halloween. This is one of my favorite times of the year, but there's a ton of accidents that involve dogs on Halloween. Dogs either rushing to, let me take my glasses off for just a second here. Dogs rushing to um, get out of the door at the kids who are dressed up as trick or treaters. Going outside, hearing a noise, hearing laughing, whatever, when it's a little later than usual, and getting out of a fence. We typically think of New Year's and Fourth of July as the big holidays that affect our dogs, and that's true. Fireworks are usually pretty harsh on dogs, but trick or treating can typically be kind of rough on your dogs as well, especially ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door. Uh, we all have that dog. We all know that dog that is very sensitive to doorbell rings or door knocks, and so that usually sets them off a little bit, right? So what can you do? There's a couple of things I'm going to cover, just kind of some basic management techniques, and then kind of give you a rough idea in my home about what I would do if I had a dog that was kind of this was an issue for. Now I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying that when we give out Halloween goodies, we actually set up a table out front, and we are well away from our front door, so the dogs can see us through the window. They typically are fairly calm. Christoph kind of gets a little frustrated when to come outside. Philip doesn't really care, but they're typical relatively calm, because we just go ahead and remove that as a problem to begin with, right? We sit out there giving out the bags. We give out little goodie bags and everything. That takes care of that issue. You may not want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. You may want to stay inside and watch horror movies or whatever you do on Halloween. And whenever you hear the doorbell or whatever, have that reaction. Remember, too, there's a bit of a liability issue here. That if your doorbell, if you're answering your front door and your dog does cross that threshold to bite someone, that creates a bit of a legal or a liability issue on your part for not having your dog either properly restrained or contained. Okay, so fun stuff's out of the way. So let's talk about what are we going to do. So option number one, and look at management. Now, management is always a good idea. Whether that's I don't really feel like a crate all night is exactly fair. So typically what I advise is baby gates around the front door, or at least keeping the dog quarantined in a different part of the house, right? Management's perfectly fine. Halloween is a little over a week away. You're not going to get a lot of these behaviors down between now and then. If you're one of my students, you certainly have most of these behaviors underneath your belt already. So there's a solid chance it's not going to be difficult for you to apply them to the situation. But it would take a little bit of practice to get it perfect, right? So your first step is management. Management's always fine. Again, whether that's keeping the dog in a separate part of the house, changing how you answer the front door, whatever. Management's perfectly fine. And in a second, I'm going to move the camera and kind of give you an idea about what I would do for management in my home, right? And then we're going to talk about training. So let's talk about management in my home. So we're sitting in my foyer right now. The door right here on my left side leads into my kitchen. Front door is right there. So what you're looking at is I'm going to move the camera a little here. So you're getting a look inside the home. So you can see kitchen door there, right? We have our living room door here that goes down into our hallway, and then our foyer, right? So there's a giant space right here. This would be difficult to find a baby gate that is big enough to fit into this space, right? An option would be to put a baby gate here into my living room, which then wraps around to my kitchen. So 2 baby gates total creates a space, a containment space that I can keep my dogs in if something were to happen. Now, The issue with that particular scenario is depending on the type of dog that I have, one of my dogs or both my dogs will still be near the front door because you can see, sorry, let's look there. See how close my kitchen door is to my, the entrance to my kitchen is to my front door. So while that's a good management option, if I've got a confirmed fence jumper, if I've got a dog that has no problem clearing a hurdle, or if I have a dog with some aggressive reactivity, that barrier so close to both my physical threshold and the threshold of the trigger is going to be difficult to maintain, right? Might be better to consider someone babysitting the dog in the bedroom for part of the evening or something along those lines, right? These are all solid options if you're dealing with a reactive dog at Halloween. But what can we do to train it? So here's what we're going to work on. I'm going to clarify, I have a storm door. I'm not going to bother opening the storm door because every time I open that storm door, you're going to hear a little dog bark. I'm going to work on opening the front door, though. We're going to work on a spot down stay using one of the dog beds we keep near the front door. We sometimes will leave it open so the dogs can't, or the cats can look outside. We're going to use that spot. And let's see what we can get Christoph to do. Okay. We'll need some treats. We'll need a clicker. Okay. Dog bed. It's going to go right here. Okay, I'm going to move you guys a little closer and kind of go over what I'm going to do here. So, good boy, Christoph. He's right here. You can see he is on the bed, right? Okay. So that's what we're going to work on. I'm going to reposition this camera a little bit here. Okay. So simply put, I'm going to put Christoph here. Try to do a down stay while I open and close the front door. I'm going to settle for a stay, though. Or a sit stay is fine, but down would be preferable. Right? So he's already on the spot. So let's see if we can get him into a sit. Come on. I know, you're all excited. Down. Back here, bud. We're going to have to adjust this camera angle a little so you can see. Okay, cool. Spot. All the way. Come on, turn around. All right, reinforce in between each behavior because this is a new one, right? Down. I know you're a little confused. That's okay. Down. Okay. Don't love this positioning because we're right back to it. It's a little close. You saw I had to step in to get to the front door, right? Because I had to step in to get to the front door, he had to get up. So we're going to reposition. Back in here. Okay. Come here. Down. Right here. Stay. Okay. Barely cracked the door, but that's okay. So he stays in he stays in position. I dropped a crumb, so he moved. That's okay. Okay, Christoph, back up. Back up. Buddy, in here. Come all the way. All right. Come here. Down. Down. Good boy. Stay. Now, I'm going to take it because he didn't move, right? He stood back up, but he stayed behind my physical threshold right here. That's fine, okay? That's fine. We're going to do it a couple more times. Sit. Down. I know. Down. Christoph. Here we go. Stay. Again, I don't love this. I don't hate it, right? It as long as he doesn't cross this line. If he's more comfortable standing, that's okay. As long as he doesn't cross this line. Okay? Christoph, stay. Kristoff, stay. You guys can't see Philip is underneath us. All right, and we moved. So we got the door almost completely open, and then we moved. So we know that's a threshold right there we're going to have to cross. Okay. Now, if you haven't practiced this a whole lot, you got a dog that's a door dasher. This is a good exercise to practice any time of the year. Kristoff, come on. No, Philip. Kristoff, come on. All the way. Come on, get in here. Okay. Stay. Much better. Say much better. Right? That was actually pretty good. We're going to do this one more time, and then we're going to wrap this up a little bit. Stay. Nice October evening outside. All right, last time. Stay. Okay. Now, move my stool here and kind of readjust my camera. Okay. So what's the obvious difference between right now and Halloween? Well, first off, there's no trick-or-treaters outside. Okay. Yeah, buddy, I see you. This is something where, sorry, I'm on the frame, so you're kind of caught up here. I hope this doesn't come out too bad. Okay. This is something where we do have to kind of practice this behavior kind of long term, right? I'm actually going to move this a little closer. Philip, buddy, you're kind of in the way. Okay. There we go. Got to get it closer to the router here. So obviously this behavior would be easier to practice when there were actual, or when there's no actual trick-or-treaters. Adding in kids in costumes is going to make this a lot harder. And obviously you're not going to dress your kids up early and have them practice. Plus they would only, the dog would only really learn with those kids in those costumes versus, in our neighborhood, easily 200 kids out on the streets. So when you think about that long term, what you're thinking about is you're thinking about, is this a behavior that my dog knows? How do I generalize opening up the front door? This is something that I'm practicing all the time. I'm practicing, is this something that I do when I get home from work? Is this something when my spouse does when they get home, right? How do I get this behavior under control, right? Practice does make perfect. This is a very difficult behavior for most dogs to master, and it can take a while. So keep that in mind when you're practicing. All right, everybody. Sorry if the video looks a little laggy live. I think it'll look a little bit better once you watch it post, but we'll go from there. All right. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. If you're seeing this video, you enjoyed the content, please do me the favor of like, comment, and sharing these posts. That is the best way for my business to continue to stay in business and for me to gain new customers. You have a dog that you're having problems with, you have a canine you would like to get their concerns addressed, I'm more than happy to help. I'm taking on new clients all the time, and I'm always happy to talk to you about that. All right, everybody have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.